All right, we're recording.
Now we're recording?
Now we're recording.
We just had two amazing segments that we missed because Dan didn't record.
I just didn't hit the button yet. It's all about starting.
Should we start from scratch? You want to see my notes?
I think so.
I'm just,
Definitely, yeah. Yeah.
I don't have anything.
I think my favorite thing is how you say, let's start from scratch. Let me show you my notes. This is a podcast. Who are you showing?
You.
Okay,
Only
well, that's
you.
fair. That's fair. I think we should, start out by saying the podcast is, it's just for comedy reasons, right? We're trying
Absolutely.
to make people laugh.
We are a couple Christian guys, and if you are going to use this podcast to learn more about the Bible, go somewhere else.
Yes.
Because that's not our forte. We are with you. We are looking for podcasts that can teach us that.
Exactly.
So this is just straight comedy.
Yeah. If you don't think it's funny, then you're not funny. I'm just going to throw that out there.
You are not. You don't know what comedy is.
No. And that's why we're restraining from our political beliefs. We're not trying to make it like that. So I think we should start off with saying,
oh, yeah, who we are.
Yeah. Who are you voting for?
I'm voting for what's his name? Trump's son.
Trump's son?
Yeah, what's his name?
Hunter? No, that's Biden's son.
Biden's son. I'm voting for Biden's son.
Biden's son. Hunter Biden.
That's who I'm voting for.
Hunter Biden for 2020 whatever for 2024.
24, yes.
Oh man.
I'm John. Let's do that. My name's John Marshall.
Yeah, that's probably clear. And I'm Dan. And
Dan what?
Oh, Dan Snow. That's fair. I probably should say my last name.
Because people are gonna be looking us up.
I just all the fan mail. I'm trying to
Can
abstain
you
from that.
imagine having a PO box like that?
No.
Is that what they call it?
I think it's just mail.
A mailbox.
I think it's just mail in general.
Whenever
PO box is a certain one.
Whenever people mention that on podcasts, it's like, yeah, send us fan mail. I just literally imagine like a mailbox outside their studio that people just put stuff in.
And like mail it, they have to walk to it.
Yeah, they check it every morning in the podcast. I was thinking about what we have in common, and I couldn't find anything. No. Just play it.
So should we just end it right here?
Let's go.
The first segment's solid. We got a solid 10 minutes in.
Cut to our outro song.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking we're both pastors' kids.
Yep.
I literally didn't realize that till the other day. I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, we're both pastor kids. And then I was like, we probably have the most opposite pastor's kid experience.
Oh yeah,
of all
easily.
time. Like,
it's like I just want to point out my dad had like 7 churches, so step it up over there.
I've been in one.
He's at one. He's only at one. Where are you at?
I know. Like that's a competition. Yeah, I've been in 7.
Because that's a flex.
Yeah, for real.
Oh man,
we're both about to drink coffee. Ready? Here we go.
I need to get to drink it.
But yeah,
no, that is very true though. It's completely different.
When I think about my experience as a pastor's kid, and I was thinking about that too. Like the name of this podcast right now is. We don't have a name of the podcast.
We don't have a name, yeah.
And I was trying to do something along the lines of POVPK or something stupid
there
like that.
I thought about like initials
mm-hmm.
because you got John and Dan, so it's like D and J type thing, but I don't know.
We gotta figure it out.
We'll figure it out as we go.
My experience as a pastor's kid, I feel like is, excuse me.
Just gonna mark those points.
Way more pampered than yours was. I feel like I had a breeze.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I guess it depends how you look at it too. Because like for us, it was like we started out in Maryland and then they ended in Kentucky.
What? You were in Maryland?
I didn't know that. That's the first time we moved.
Where were you born?
Here.
You were born.
We moved. We moved from here when I was 4. So that means we were what, like 3 then? 2?
We moved here when I was 4.
You moved here. Oh, okay.
From Florida, so we probably missed each other.
We probably did, but then just us coming back all the time.
Yeah,
you were here by then.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think. We moved. Well, like, we moved when I was 4. So I mean, like I don't. It's weird. I don't have any memories of like when we technically lived here. Oh, even though I have all the memories from when we came back for like Bible conference and all that.
Yeah. So you guys just went straight to Maryland.
Yeah. Because we went straight to Maryland. My dad's like, "I'm a pastor," so. And we went to Maryland, and then we lived in the ghetto in Maryland. It was the white ghetto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was.
What was it like? Was it like Baltimore area?
No. It was Cumberland. Was what it was called.
Cumberland.
It's like it's like somewhere in Maryland. I don't know for sure. I can't remember.
How long were you there for?
We were there for 7 years.
Oh wow.
Actually, yeah. So like
So
we
you would have been 11 when you left.
we were there because I moved in like 5th grade, and then we moved to Louisville. We went to Northside.
Wow.
To
yeah.
Northside in Louisville, because I was telling people, well, when you were telling me that you moved, you just moved, and I was thinking about like I remember I went through all the times that I've moved, and I moved like 13 times, and it's just insane.
That's crazy to me.
I
because
hate moving.
I
Hate it.
I just moved into a new apartment yesterday, on my anniversary. So that was my gift to my wife. Hey, we're gonna move everything that we own into
to your pregnant wife.
we're gonna move everything that we own into another, and it's literally like I would say probably it's two buildings down, so it's like just short enough where it's not too annoying, but it's just long enough where it's annoying. It's super weird.
So you didn't move complexes. You just moved.
No, legit, just move two
Why?
buildings down. Just because we need the extra bedroom.
Oh, so you upgraded as well.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
okay, that makes sense. That makes
Exactly.
sense.
So
I thought you were just like, this was stupid. We're gonna go to a different building. I was like, why?
I know that would have been terrible, but yeah, moving is the worst. I literally woke up this
hate
morning to get dressed, and I opened my dresser drawer, and I'm like, these are not my sweatpants drawer. I'm like,
Yeah.
where is my stuff? All of my drawers are mixed up, and it's the most annoying. It took me an extra like 5 minutes to figure out where everything was.
And
And,
as
like,
a guy, that's so frustrating.
Oh, I know. I
It's just-
opened my t-shirt drawer, and there's socks in there. I'm like, it literally. I'm standing there. It's like 7 a.m. It was like 7:30.
Yeah.
I'm standing. I'm like, why are there socks in this drawer? Just trying to like catch up with waking up. But yeah, it's the worst. So you moved 7 times.
No, so we moved.
No, way more than 7 times. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have been in 7 different churches.
Yeah. So
That's
that's the sad funny thing. That's the pain that you laugh through right there. Because that's what we always joke about with my dad, because he started the church in Maryland.
No
And
wonder
then,
the snows are still here.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, in Maryland, when we moved buildings,
Yeah.
my dad changed the name of the church. So sometimes we didn't.
Right.
We just changed the name.
Oh, okay.
So like he started out, he called it New Life Baptist Church, and then it was like Heritage,
Oh, no, I'm fine.
and then it was. Oh man, I can't remember. There was a couple different names, but the one church we had, it was like a Catholic building, but that church was cool. So it was a pretty big auditorium, and then it had an upstairs, like above the fellowship hall, was a half basketball court.
Oh.
And the 3-point lines like intercrossed each other, so I'm talking like half court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like rebound, turn around, shoot if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And my dad started a basketball team 1 year there,
Oh, really?
and so of course I'm on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And some other kids from church.
Does your dad play?
No,
Okay. I was
no,
gonna
he
say,
does
I've
not.
never seen him
My
play.
my mom was the athletic one.
Really?
Isn't that random?
That is.
My mom was the soccer star in high school.
That's
So
crazy.
for whatever athletic abilities I have, I got from my mom. My dad had some, but he was more like, I'm just gonna drink and alcohol. That's his high school experience.
That's amazing.
And
You get that
and
from
then he
your dad?
turned his life around.
Yes.
I never forget. I'd ask my dad. I was like, "Hey, Dad," I was like a teenager. I'm like, "What's like the worst thing you ever did?"
Oh my.
And he would just be like, "I'm not telling you that." And I'm like, "That's fair. I don't want to.
All
I
right.
probably don't want to know."
So you guys have been in a bunch of different buildings. Did you own them or did you just rent?
It was always rent. That's why you had to move, right? Like
Right, yeah.
either something would happen, you'd have to move, or somebody would buy it, or something like that. Like the Catholic, but I think someone like bought, and then we had to go.
Oh, really?
And then I don't remember. At one point, we were in our house
Oh,
for
really?
a little bit until we found another building. I can't remember. We were storefront once, right? I think every church has to have a storefront
Yeah,
period
at least once.
usually. So we were storefront one time, and I don't remember if that was the last. No, we were storefront twice. One was right next to a bar,
That's lit.
like us, and then a bar, like story right there. And
That's
but like
amazing.
if somebody's at a bar on a Sunday morning, that's a sad time.
I know
You
for
know?
real.
So, but
You guys' schedules are a little bit pretty opposite.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry about it.
yes,
If you guys are having church on like a Friday night, it might get a little rowdy.
oh yeah,
Sunday morning,
mm-hmm.
those people need help,
Those people do.
and they were as close as they could possibly be to getting help. without getting help.
That random guy right now that's got headphones in at the bar listening to this podcast. Those jerks.
Just go next door, man.
Yeah.
I promise it'll
Just
be
go
better.
next door to the church. Just go.
So you guys go from Catholic building to storefront. This is amazing. I've actually never heard the history
Yeah, it's
of you guys' life.
Yeah, it's sad. So, not really. It's just like, so anyway, we jumped around churches in Maryland, and then after that, my dad was like, okay, the Lord's drawing me away from here.
Yeah.
So, we moved from Maryland, and we didn't really know where to go. So we went to Louisville, and that's when my grandpa, so my mom, remember my grandpa Kaywood?
Yep.
He was pastoring in Tennessee at the time.
Okay.
And then he moved, I don't really actually know that full story. He moved to Louisville, and then we ended up moving in with them just till we got somewhere to live.
Yeah.
So, like, my grandpa's apartment, so it's my grandma and grandpa's apartment, and my Aunt Letha was with them. So
Apartment?
yeah, an apartment. So you got to think, this is like a 3-bedroom apartment
Okay.
with like 10 people in it. And 4 of them are high school, and then I'm a little kid who's probably should be diagnosed with ADHD if it's not. Whatever that means nowadays.
Yeah,
so, like, we were all in that one.
Oh,
we were all in that one room, not one room, in that one apartment. And then we finally found a house. Then we went to Northside.
Yep.
So, and that was different, going to downtown Louisville for school. That was interesting.
Was it a Christian? Yeah, it was a Christian school,
Northside.
right?
Yeah,
Northside.
State Line played them. Remember?
Yeah, we used to play
Random-
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Northside, baby.
Yeah, that was
Sounds like a
interesting.
gang.
Does. Well, the interesting thing about Northside was it was in the ghetto. I mean, it was in the ghetto. So, did you guys ever go there?
I don't think we ever went to Northside.
Okay,
No.
so it was an old like nuns type like church thing. I don't really know for sure. Here's the old tales though, because if you've never been there, the church is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but there's the church and then
Are
the
there
school.
tunnels?
Yes,
I've heard
we
something
went
about
down there. So, like, you
okay.
always hear the stories, right? Like, yeah, there's these tunnels underground where the nuns would go down, and that's where they'd kill the babies. And you're like, what? I'm not believing that. Like, that is the dumbest. So we go to this closet, and they're like, no, there really are tunnels. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So we go down this ladder, and it's a whole new world.
Oh, my word.
Like, there's actually tunnels, and with those spigot lights
Yeah.
on the corner. And I'm not just making this up for this. Like, this is legit.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now I'm scared to death. Because, and then you would walk in the tunnel, and then you'd walk into like an open room underground.
Oh, my word.
So I don't know what it was used for.
Who knows?
Yeah, and they blocked off some areas, and then one tunnel went to my friend's house across the street. That's where like the priest lived or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And they blocked that one off, of course. But yeah,
Oh,
that one tunnel went there.
Weird.
And I'm like, that is so creepy. So there was a whole underground system. It was made so they could go from the school building to like their worship hall.
Yeah.
Without getting, if it rained or something, that's without getting wet or something like that.
for rain. Right.
Yeah. So
They
like,
didn't have umbrellas.
I know. 'Cause you know when a nun gets rained on, it melts. You know.
Yeah,
I don't know
legit.
why. But again, that's what I was told. So then I'm like, okay, there probably was other reasons why they had, because it wasn't just, because if it was true, it'd just be tunnels. It'd just be a tunnel.
Yeah.
Or a walkway with a canopy, for goodness sakes. You can't just put, you know
I
what
know.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm of the opinion that if you're doing anything underground, it should be labeled as sus.
Yes.
Like as soon as
Here
you go underground,
It's just
that's when
bad.
it starts to become suspicious.
I want to know I want to like be in the meeting with the nuns when they were like, "Hey, listen, it's raining. We need like at least 40 tunnels underground and some side rooms so we can get there." Because I'm saying
And
like,
take a break in the side room and
Yeah.
then continue through the tunnel.
because like you go down there, it's open area. It's weird. It was so
And you
weird.
didn't use any of that at the school?
No, what are you going to use it for?
I don't know.
The only thing you use it for is for like teenagers like us to go, let's go down to the tunnels.
Yeah,
Which
I
we
mean-
only did it like once because I think you'd get in big trouble if they caught you.
Yeah.
They were
If I-
probably going to fill it in.
Yeah. I mean, like, if anybody is gonna like utilize tunnels, it would be like a Christian school. It's like, man, we need more space.
I know, right?
We can't build in a building.
There's rooms out there. Hey, this is our preschool now.
You go down, there's like lights flickering.
Oh yeah. Also, I said they even had the candle, or what are those called? Like that go into the wall on the side.
Oh, like
Like, you know what I
a
mean?
candelabra?
Is that what it's called?
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah. But those, like, so you like light them, and then you know like that. That's just creepy.
How old of a building was it?
Oh, it was so old. I don't remember.
That
It
is-
was so old though. So like anyway, so that was the school connected to the. But the funny thing about this was, another funny thing about it is that the whole property it was pretty nice. So you had the church was pretty big, and it had a
Right.
balcony seating. So the church was big.
Yeah.
And then you had the school, and then it had a gym,
Okay.
and then it had like a big field for like you could do soccer, baseball, There's just this giant field and then like a playground for like kids, right?
Yeah.
So all this area was all surrounded by like a 15-foot brick wall because it's in the middle of the ghetto. And I'm not joking, like the huge brick wall.
There's barbed
You can't
wire?
jump it.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not a jail. But it's this 15-foot brick wall. So like,
Dang, man.
I remember times like we would have shootings and they were like, oh yeah, it was in that back alley, and I'm like, why is this so casual?
Oh man.
Like, oh, another shooting today.
Yeah, you're coming from Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, maybe I just didn't grow up that way, but I'm not used to just shootings like right outside the school.
That's crazy. A 15-foot wall. That
Yeah.
really would. I mean, like already in high school, you feel like you're in prison, but like imagine looking outside
Yes.
and just being like, there's a towering wall.
Some kid just waving to you outside the wall.
Yeah, and there's like barbed wire facing in, so it's meant to keep. It's not meant to keep people out. It's meant to keep people in. I think that's
Well, like-
actually. This is a complete side rail, but do you know the airport in Colorado?
Yes, the one that has the barbed wire fence in.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it?
That
That
is
is
weird.
With the horse, the Maverick like statue, that's huge. That's a complete sidebar, but anyway.
We can actually get into that because we just watched a video recently on that.
Did you?
But anyway, so like it had these giant walls, so like people would push up. Because like on the outside to get in wasn't as hard. You could just find things to probably climb on.
Yeah.
But like when you get into the property, like
Yeah.
you don't really have anything. So people would like grab the picnic tables that they had out and like carry them all the way to the wall, and then use those to jump back over.
Kids would?
People like that didn't go to church or school there. That wanted to like play basketball or something because that also had like an outdoor goal and stuff like that. So that's what they would do. But that was an interesting experience going there.
I bet.
It really was.
We had at State Line. We had a
What a butler, you pampered.
yeah, for real. We were a lot more. It was pretty nice. But there was this one like section of the building that was just not finished. You probably may
One
have,
above the gym.
what?
Is it like above the gym or something?
No, it's actually connected to the foyer and auditorium of the
Oh
next
yeah, like the B
Building,
same thing or B
building
building.
B.
Is that what it was? Okay,
Building
yes.
B, baby.
I heard about it. Yeah.
And like they like it's just a shell. It's like a shell of the what they were supposed to do in there. It was never finished.
Yeah, I heard they're
And
supposed to
so-
be working on it now. I don't know if that's true.
If they're not allowed to finish that.
Oh,
That
so
has to be-
so maybe they're not going to be working on it soon.
that has to be unfinished for the entire life of that place. Like it's been like that
hilarious.
for so long they just can't now.
I feel like the saying like, oh, I think they're going to work on it has probably been floating around for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have their staff meetings. They're like, so what if we finish building B? And they're like, shut up, get out of here. But no,
I did hear stories about that.
But yeah, that was like our like unfinished creepy part of the high school. Like it was just like 3 stories unfinished and hallways and
3
rooms.
stories? It was that much?
It's 3 stories. Yeah. It's
Huh.
crazy.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Is it so? Like when you go in the auditorium, is it that like that balcony up there? Is there seating up there?
There isn't.
So like, is that where it is? Like if you go in a door up there?
Yeah.
Okay. So that
So
makes
if
sense.
you go on up there and you can get there's like another door access, but you were never really allowed to go in there. Occasionally you'd be allowed to go in there to just like move stuff, and that's where they kept like all their desks and
That's basically their garage.
Yeah, it was. And so we would go in there all the time. And like if you got caught in there, you get in trouble. But like there's a lot of places to hide and stuff. And like it just goes on forever. And it goes up to like there's a catwalk above the auditorium and stuff. I never wanted that, but I knew some people that did. And I may or may not have been related to them, but they got in big trouble for doing that. But but yeah, it's just like it's massive. And like
Hashtag Naden. Hashtag.
yeah,
Is that still a thing? Saying hashtag?
I don't
It
know.
might not be.
Yeah, shout out Nate and Ben. I won't tell you which one it was, but it definitely wasn't Nate. And
I didn't think it was.
Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
real.
be honest. Like Ben seemed like when he came back with that mustache, I was like, that's a rebel right there.
he is. But yeah, and like they had so they have a bus ministry there, which just opens up a whole nother spectrum of people. And so they actually like found people like living in there at one point. That was before my time, but like just people camping out.
It's not funny.
It's not, but like that's what happens
sad.
when you have tremendous amounts of space. But
No, it is.
so you guys go from Louisville, and you were there for how long?
We were in Louisville for all like 2 years.
Really? Okay.
So here's the funny thing.
not very long.
No. Well, we first moved to Louisville and we went to Northside, and then we moved like halfway through the year at Northside. So the only
middle of the year.
this is gonna So this is so actually technically it was the end of the year because halfway through the school year is like the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
That's what matters. So anyway, one of the good things that came out of Northside though was their Spanish meeting. That's where I met Hector. You guys remember Hector?
Yes, Hector.
Hector.
He was a hooper.
He is, yes.
Yeah.
He wasn't good, but he was. I'm just kidding. He was good, actually. I mess Hector, if you're listening to this, you were okay.
Do you still talk to him?
No, I mean, I randomly message him. He's married with like 75 kids now.
No way.
No, I don't know how many kids he has. He's got, but I think he's got like 3 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah, he's my age.
That's
like,
wild.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him was in that cabin.
Really? Yeah.
At
Dude, he was. If he is listening, he was awesome, man. So like I don't really know how I met him, but you can't miss him. First of all,
oh yeah, he's huge.
He is huge. So like, and he's been huge. Like when I first met him, he's my age, like 13, but he's like 6 foot. So I meet him, and I remember talking to him, and of course he spoke English, and his brother Juan spoke English, and I talked with them, and then kind of they started. I think that's when they started coming to Northside, and even lately after that. Mm-hmm. So he was awesome, though, man. Yeah. Like he was so cool. He was kind of a like a protector for me too, because like I don't want to like talk trash about Northside, but that was not the best school.
No,
in my opinion, I wasn't a big fan of it.
Christian schools are really bad.
Yeah, they can be. Like yes. So Hector, like there was one time. This guy who was in like 10th or 11th grade, he walked up behind me and just put me in a headlock. And I'm not talking like small, like just headlock. I'm talking like he got underneath the neck and you feel like your head's going to pop off because it's funny. And to me, like when you're the one getting choked, it's not funny.
Right.
I guess apparently when you're the person taking the life, that's when it's fun. I don't know why.
And it's funny to everybody that's watching too.
Yes. And then and I'm just like, I'm going to die. Of course, that's your first thing because you're like, this guy's got me. So all of a sudden I just hear... and then he lets go, and I'm like, oh, I turn around, and Hector's got him in a headlock, and he's just like tapping Hector's arm, right? He's like hitting Hector's arm, tapping Hector's arm, and then Hector just lets go, and I'm like, this guy is my best friend now because
you guys are the same age.
Yeah, we're the same age, but he was huge.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. He was like bigger than, and he was strong. It wasn't like he just like developed quick. I mean, his body just developed faster. I guess he was just huge and he was strong. Mm-hmm. So there was one kid. One time they had these overnights at Northside.
Overnights,
we would stay overnight there. Like the whole church would. I'm sorry. It was a conference this time. It was a teen conference.
I see.
And they would have like 2,000 teens show up. It was a blast. Wow, so we're staying in the gym. In the gym, there was like these 2 side steps going up, and then there were like rooms up there. I don't know what they were used for, honestly, but we stayed up there, like our teen group did.
Yeah.
So this one kid was picking on one of the Spanish kids. So I don't know what he was doing, but he was picking on one of the Spanish kids, and because they finally let a lot of the Spanish group come. Not that they didn't before, but that door was starting to open when Hector and we kind of started realizing they started going, oh, Spanish people are cool. It's like, oh yeah, let's all put them together. So. This kid's picking on him. So Hector, all of a sudden, you see the kid that was getting picked on was one of Hector's friends, the Spanish kid. Yeah. And then the kid that was picking on him, I'm not going to say his name, but all of a sudden, you see him. He's a big guy, like big guy. Yeah. And not muscular, just big. So all of a sudden, I see that kid just kind of fly through the door and like not like fly, but like kind of run, like he's running away from something. I see Hector come out, and this time Hector's actually mad. Oh man! And I've never seen him mad. Like he's just so. The funny thing is Hector puts his hands up, and he's like boxing.
Oh man!
And Hector, and then the other guy like puts his up, but he's just backing up. He's just literally backing up from Hector, like running from him. Yeah. But he's prepared, and he's like Hector, and he's literally going, "I'm sorry, Hector. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "You're the biggest wuss." If you can't, like, man up. Yeah. So the funny thing is Hector did not care. So Hector just swings at him, right? But the best part is Hector wouldn't punch. I don't know why. He slapped. Oh. Seeing a grown man slap another teenagers, when you're in a boxing match and all of a sudden you're seen as like head bob, like Hector's ready, and all of a sudden you just hear was one of the funniest things because he hits him across the face, like smacks him.
That's so.
And then the guy is like, "Oh my goodness, he doesn't know what to do." And then he kicks him like there's like a leg kick. Yeah. And I'm like, "Man, Hector might kill him." And then he kicks him and then he smacks him again. And he's like smacking him on the top of the head. He's just like smacking. It was the funniest thing. But Hector's mad. And then and then the guy tried to just stop, and then Hector just shoves him, and the kid just hits the wall, puts a big big chunk out of the drywall. And then after that kid never messed with anybody again, though.
Oh my word!
But like seeing somebody be mad and go.
That's so disrespectful when you're like legit
to get slapped.
Yeah, you're legit about to get into a fight, and then you just get smacked. It like literally, it's like a flashbang. It stuns you and it hurts.
Literally.
But like it's not like enough to kill you. But like,
no,
that's hilarious. Yeah, I remember Hector.
Yeah,
we were in the cabin. I was the first time I met him, and it was like, for whatever reason,
Yeah, he worked at the camp, right? When you guys were there?
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
For whatever reason, everybody was like obsessed with boxing. I don't know why, but like I think somebody brought gloves or something.
Brody
Brody brought gloves.
very positive.
And I remember
he brought
Hector
gloves.
putting them on.
Yes,
And then like
I fought him once. I lost.
and it was like, okay, everybody's done. You know, Hector puts on the gloves. It's like, okay, we're all good.
Yes.
But man, so you were only at Northside for like 2 years.
Just sidebar. Camp is like a whole other 5 episodes
for real.
by itself.
Camp Part 1, Camp Part 2,
I know.
Camp Part 3.
Yes. Okay, but what did you say though?
So you're at so let me catch up to where I'm at. So like you are how old at Northside?
In Northside, I'm middle school. It's like 8th grade. So that's what, like 12,
Yeah.
13ish, something
Man, so
like
you're
that.
only at 8th grade at that time?
Yeah.
And you already moved once?
And we already
Twice.
we moved to Maryland and then to Louisville. Well, then from Louisville, we moved to Indiana, but we moved into our own house.
Gotcha.
We just moved because Louisville's right next to Indiana, so we just moved over to Indiana.
So
but we still went to Northside.
Let me catch up.
Yeah.
So you're already 12. I'm still not born yet. Anyway.
No, exactly.
I was born in Connecticut, which is super random.
I did not know that.
I know.
You're born in Connecticut?
Yeah, it's super, super random.
But you said you moved from Florida, so you got to explain that.
Yeah, exactly. So my parents got married, and they had me the same year they got married, and they immediately moved to Connecticut. And my dad worked at a Christian school. It was I think he was a teacher, and then he was a janitor too. Which is
okay.
Yeah. So I'm just following in my dad's footsteps. But,
Amen.
So he worked there for a year, and that's where they had me. They were only there for a year, and then from there we moved to Florida and Haines City, Florida, and we were there for 4 years.
So where'd your dad meet your mom at?
So my dad, obviously, being an evangelist, they were traveling everywhere, and
I forgot about that.
yeah. So
I
they
didn't think about that.
They came and sang, I think, at the old building a couple times or something.
Yeah, this building wouldn't have been here yet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And so that's where my mom met them. My mom
that makes
met
sense.
my dad or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so I was like 4 when we moved here to Toledo. And
Oh, yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I'm just for some reason I was thinking like, oh, and then that's where your aunt met your uncle because you guys married sisters.
Yeah.
But I don't know why that made me smile. I don't know if that's weird.
That's a good thought.
It is.
Makes you smile.
I just throw that out there.
But
but as weird as I thought it and smiled, I don't feel like that. I feel like that sounds really weird. Like, yeah, now I'm thinking of your uncle and that your.
anyway,
Go ahead.
so we moved here at 4 when I was like 4 years old, and then we've been here ever since. So like it's been
Oh yeah.
it's 2023, so it's been math.
Like 17 years, 18 years.
Yeah, just about 18 years.
I was gonna say I don't know.
Yeah,
So you
I'm
guys,
23, 18 years. About
you moved in. So that house that I've been over at, like when we were kids.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
We were there for like 9-10 years.
So when did you move? You moved into technically that was Pastor Sal's old house, right? The one that burnt down.
Yes.
So you moved there.
The first house we moved into was in Toledo, and that was just like a typical Toledo house.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
We weren't in the ghetto, but it was.
You weren't in the ghetto, but you weren't like in the. It's a weird thing. You're kind of in the middle. Like you weren't in the ghetto, but you weren't like in the like nice area. But you know what I mean. Like that's not
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we moved in there, and then that's where we had you over for the first time.
Yeah.
And
Party City right there.
dude, I don't know.
Jump on the trampoline in the back, right? Am I
Yes,
thinking of the right
dude.
house? Yeah,
Oh,
trampoline
yeah.
in the back.
Dude, we lived for trampolines. We went through like 3 of them in our childhood.
Really?
No joke. Like
Yeah.
bouncing them into the ground.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we were there, and then when we first moved here, we lived with my grandparents in our house that burned down for a while, and then
Just recently burnt down, just so everybody
I
knows.
know. Then we moved
Sad.
in there. Honestly, it's not too bad for me because I was already moved out.
You already moved out. Yeah, that's
So
very
I was
true.
like, oh, there it goes.
So you're. Your family's over there crying in the court, and you're like, "Oh well,
I know.
Still got my stuff."
I still had some stuff there.
Yeah,
but
I know.
So yeah,
Like your
and then-
podcast equipment.
Yeah, exactly. All my podcast equipment. But yeah, so we moved there, and then I think the first time that we ever met was when you guys came for a Bible conference.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
Unless my parents knew yours through like traveling.
I don't know.
But I don't. I'm gonna. Well, oh no! Wait a second. Were your parents underneath like with mine when they ran singles though, or no? Do you not know?
No, that had to have been previous.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I thought.
Did you guys do it with Matt and Vicky?
No, I think my parents were after, like before them. I think.
Wow. So yeah, that must have been a long time ago.
They ran singles, and like Pastor Dave was in singles. My aunt Carrie was in singles.
That's way before.
I thought your parents are around the age of them, like my aunt and uncle Niemer, the Niemers.
Yeah.
So I think they were, but I could be wrong. But if you said you moved here when you were 4, then it had to be after, because I would have been 5 or 6. I had to have been gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way,
definitely gone.
The funny thing is, I don't remember meeting you though, like for the first time. I think it's because we were so young.
Yeah.
We just when you're young, especially when you're a pastor's kid, you learn you have to just know people.
Yeah.
So we probably just play with lightsabers those early times in public conference.
So far, both of our stories are completely drastically different. Like I moved once,
twice, yes.
And I don't remember either of them. Mm-hmm. And then I've been here for my entire life.
Yeah.
And then you're just getting started.
Yeah. We paused mine at Northside, and that's nowhere near the end. That's the sad thing for me.
So you said next was Indiana?
Next was it. Well, we moved to Indiana because we just moved over that.
I'm trying to picture this on a map. So you're going from Maryland to Louisville, Kentucky to Indiana. Yeah, so there's literally no rhyme to the locations you go to.
Not at all. And the thing is, we moved around in Maryland. So that's what I mean by I moved like 15 times, because we moved. And then we moved to, like, we were in Louisville, but we moved in Louisville because we were living with my grandparents. We had to move. Mm-hmm. So like we would move over there. I know. I keep getting all this like backed up. Just I can't stop. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna hate this later because I gotta clear all these out. So this is gonna be terrible. But anyway, that's what I said when we moved so many times. So technically, we've only moved like a few different areas, but we still moved a lot.
Yeah.
So after we were in Louisville, my dad, you know Lonnie Taylor?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm related to him.
Yeah, you are, right? Is that how though?
I don't.
I think I do know that.
Idea.
Okay, so it's a random connection.
Yes.
Okay.
Somehow. It's not blood.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He told my dad about this church in southeastern Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So my dad's like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll go down and check it out." So he looks it up, and it's this beautiful big building.
Your dad's
and
like, "Yes."
Next to it's at like its own parsonage. My dad's like, "It's about time, Daddy gets paid," because everybody knows that people go into the ministry for the money.
Yeah,
that's what they always say. I'm a Baptist preacher. My dad was a preacher, so we're filthy rich. But anyway, so he goes down. So we drive down there. And we're like, we go to the church, and it's this Methodist church.
Did you guys go check it out?
Yeah, that's what we were doing. So we go down to check it out, and we go, it's this Methodist church, and we're not Methodist.
You're not Methodist.
So we're like, Lonnie Taylor Methodist? We're like, what is going on? So my dad's like, oh, it pulled up the wrong church. So we drive down, and then we see the church, and it's just like right off the side of the road, and the church is right there. I'm talking maybe 7 feet from the road. Oh my. And then it's like off a cliff where the basement is. Not really a cliff, more of just like a ledge, but a big drop.
Yeah.
And then the parking lot's tiny. Like I'm talking like it's only like 10 spaces down because you can't fit any more behind it because the road's right there.
Right.
So it's hilarious though, because my dad starts laughing. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're not taking this journey."
He looks it up. He sees this amazing building. He's like,
and then he gets down there and he's like, "We're not going here." So after he took the church, we moved there. Yeah, that's what we ended up moving to Kentucky.
That's
so my dad I don't really know the stats. My dad takes the church, so we end up moving down there. We moved into the parsonage though, which was a building. We renovated it and everything. Uh-huh. So after a few years there, part of me is like, how much do I get into this story, because it's interesting. So there were some disagreements there, and my dad.
So there was actually people there.
Yes, there were already people there. He candidated and then got in.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and then there were some disagreements, and my dad left unwillingly. Was told to leave. So after that's a whole thing. But we left there, and then started a church still in Kentucky. My dad's like, this is good. We're going to start another church. I'm like, we're 0 for 6 right now. When do you throw the flag in? All of us are just
like little Dan.
Dad, we're 0 for 6.
I know. What are you talking about? It's the Lord's will.
Literally. Well, the funny thing is like my concept of like ministry at this point is terrible because of everything that's happened.
That's what I'm saying. Our stories are so drastically different.
They are. So like, but like, it's funny how we both got to similar somewhat points. Now we're both just married, working, and we both live up here.
Yeah.
So like, and we're gonna get there at some point in this podcast.
Yes,
we are gonna get there. But right now, it's like we started a church, and my dad found this building that was an old garage. And
it was an old garage. Okay.
It was a garage attached to offices. It was, so I don't know what it was. I had a big gated in area.
Yeah.
And it was right off the actual highway. So we go to this church, and it was in Leeburn, Kentucky, was where it was. Mm-hmm. And he called it Heritage. He's like, that was my favorite name for the last 97 churches, so this is the one I'm going to go with. So he names it Heritage.
He just has a list of church names.
Yes.
So he just
crossing each one. He's like, I liked this one. So we go there, and we start a church, and we had people coming, and then I moved back up here. Went to the Institute for like half a year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then I moved back down there. So this, at this point, this was like the 13th move or something.
Yeah.
So I moved up here. That just was terrible. So that situation was bad because for me personally, it's like once I graduated, I got my scholarship, right? Mm-hmm. And I did my signing day for that scholarship, my tennis one. And I was supposed to go play tennis, and then I'm like, if I go to, so like my high school was on that college campus.
Yeah.
It was part of the college campus. So like this would mean I went 4 years of high school there. I was the only kid in my family to go to the high school at the same high school. Everybody else moved at some point in their high school. I didn't.
Yeah.
So I was spoiled. So
you're the baby.
Yes. And so once I graduated, I did not want to go. I did 4 years of high school there. I did not want to do 4 years of college in the same area, which sounds so dumb, but that was me. So I was like,
you can't imagine being in the same place for 4 more years.
I'm like, I want to go back up to Ohio where like my friends are, So I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, God's calling me to Ohio. God was not calling me to Ohio. And that was shown by my time up here. So I got up here, moved up here, did not work out, moved back down there. Big life lesson for me there. And so once I moved back, I moved in with Manda actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we moved into an apartment, and we were both working at this chiropractor place, and then we both lost our jobs, in the same 2-week span. It was a bad situation. So after we lost our jobs, that's when I moved into the trailer outside of my wife's family's house. So that I lived there for 3 years.
In a trailer?
Is a camper.
So wow.
Yeah. So it was.
That's a long time.
Well, like, so you look at it like, I always make jokes about it, and people be like, oh, yeah, you lived in a camper. And I'm like, it was like a giant dorm room.
Yeah.
Because it had its own bedroom.
Right. Oh, really?
And then it had its own kitchen. Yeah. Small kitchen. It had its own bathroom and shower that didn't work. But, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, for one guy.
For a dude,
Dude, for a guy, I could live in here, and I'd be fine. It doesn't matter.
Room, yeah.
And in there, I actually had the room. So, anyway, I lived in there for 3 years.
Did she live in there? Did she live in the area where you guys?
She lived in the house right next door.
Oh,
like I was in there.
But
I
was
right
in the
next to
area
the
of your guys' church.
What do you mean? Oh yeah. So I met her through a friend actually. When I was going in high school, I was like a freshman, and a friend of mine.
She go to the same high school?
No, she didn't. No, she was homeschooled. That's why she's weird.
I
always I had to make the homeschool jokes. It's too much fun. So
my wife was everything. She did a little bit of everything, I think. No, she didn't do public school. She did Christian school and homeschool, so she's weirder.
I homeschooled half a year, and after my mom went, I'm never doing this again. You all are going to school. Yeah. We were too social to be homeschooled. Like we were social people. So
yeah.
But anyway, I met her through a friend of mine that liked her. He was like, you know how when you're in high school, he's like, man, message her for me, being my wingman. And I'm like, homie, I got you, man. So I hit her up, and I'm like, what's up, girl?
No joke. Is that your first text?
That's my open line. That's my message to her. Just, what's up, girl?
Please tell me those are the first words that you uttered to her.
She has them saved in her phone.
She
has the original messages saved. The thing is, I don't remember the conversation, but she does. She talks about how much of a jerk I am, and I'm like, what do you mean?
I was messaging you for another guy.
Yeah. And then, of course, it didn't really work out for him because now we're married.
Right.
But I messaged, and then me and her started talking. She goes, yeah, and then after that, she's like, you were messaging me. I just left you alone. And I go, no, you didn't. You messaged me back. But I don't remember. I don't really care. Now we're married, so. But according to her, I started messaging her, and then eventually she started messaging me back. I don't know.
What's up, girl?
When she listens to this podcast, because she probably will, she's definitely gonna be like, you told that story wrong. I probably did, but we gotta think. This is also
just tell her we didn't press record.
No, we didn't. There you go. Hey, babe, don't quit listening around 30 minutes in. But I told. So the weird thing is, this is freshman year. This is 12 years ago. So I've known her for 12 years.
Wow.
Because this was freshman year for me, which I would have been. Oh no, I'm sorry, 10 years ago.
Okay.
This is like 10ish years ago.
Yeah.
9-10 years ago. So we've known each other that long. So after I talked to her, of course, like we weren't allowed to date, right?
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to date. So I went to high school, and in high school, I met this girl in high school, my freshman year, that I thought was good looking, right? And this is like me as a little kid, not hitting puberty yet. Little, what's up, girl? Coming at it.
I've never been there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's been my voice for the last 20 years. So this girl, I started talking to her, and Kate scolds me for this, but I don't even know if I should tell the story.
You're too late now,
I know.
Dude.
So I was talking to her, and she wasn't the best. Like,
right.
like as a person, like she was rough. And then, but when you're just a freshman guy, you're like, she's cute. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like was looking at her pictures one day, like on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I was kind of like, I just ghosted her. My wife still scolds me for this to this day.
Wait, she's on her side? Whose side is she on?
Hers. She's like, you quit talking to her? But yeah, I just ended it. And this is a school of 50 kids. I can't going to see her every day.
Yeah.
So that was a really dumb decision by me. But it ended up working out really well. I'm glad I did, because she did, we went down different paths.
Yeah.
And we ended up being fine in the end. But like, I even went back, and those messages are like still on my Facebook, and I was like reading them, and I was sitting there almost wanting to message her and apologize. Because it was like message after message. Like, why are you not talking? Why are you not talking to me? And I'm like, I felt so bad.
You were a completely different person.
Yes. It's like, I don't know why I didn't. I don't know. I was a freshman. I don't know and that's the first girl I ever talked to.
Oh yeah.
So whatever. After that, like in my class, so like in Christian schools, especially the ones that we went to, there's like 20 kids in your class, 20ish.
Yeah, we had 20.
That was like ours. Ours was like 15, 20, but our class was like 7.
And this is like
ours
a public high school.
Like a public. No, it's a private school, but it wasn't. It was a Christian. It was a. It was a Christian school. Quotation marks around it. I mean, it was a Christian school. Like, the principal was great.
Yeah.
She was awesome. And there was a lot of good people in it. But there were also just, regular people.
Yeah.
Non-cool people. Yeah, no, but anyway. So when we went there, and then, or I started going there, and then I kind of talked to Kate, my wife, on and off throughout high school. And then my senior year, we started dating. Mm-hmm. And then our first date hit, which was a movie. Oh, shit, I got to tell this first. So I messaged her. She says that I got jealous about something, and this is how I ended up asking her out. I don't really remember this, but apparently this is what I did.
Do you remember before we started this podcast, you were like, I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
I know.
How
and
we
then
met our wives? Heck no. Here we are halfway through it.
I know. We are like, yes. And we're, yeah. And then part of me is like, man, I got like 50 stories now that are coming to me.
Oh, yeah.
For like in the future. But for me and her, I got jealous about something. And then these stories will definitely get clearer when my wife clears it up for me. Yeah. And,
what movie did you go to watch?
We watched Courageous. Remember Courageous when that came out?
Ooh.
I think it was Courageous. We watched it at her church, but I think she said that didn't count as our first date or something. I don't know. But anyway, that was our first date. We maybe said 3 sentences to each other because you're just so scared. I mean, I've never been more scared than my first date. Like, I was so scared.
And then you watch Courageous, and which one is that one?
That's the one where there's cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That one messed me up as a kid a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just
it was good.
I think I watched it too young. Isn't that the one where there's like the bad guy?
Yeah.
And there's a shooting scene, right?
Like every other. Is that the one where there's a bad guy? Yeah, like every other.
Wait, isn't there a scene where like somebody gets shot?
You think so?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it was. I think people are shooting. Yeah.
I watched it too young, but
it was a good movie.
Yeah,
it was. Now, it wasn't as good as Facing the Giants.
Yeah,
that's the. Yeah.
I still quote that movie.
Oh yeah, Facing the Giants. Yeah,
that came out in 2006.
Yeah,
I just saw
Isn't that
the
weird?
other day. I was like, wow.
2000s. Yeah,
I was
you didn't
6 years
realize
old.
that Hendrix Brothers knew what they were doing then.
Ballers.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our first date though, and
It's a good first date.
yeah, I mean, there's so many stories in between of us, but like
When you said you went to go see a movie, I was like, oh, a movie,
we saw a movie
really?
at her church.
That's
It was
what
like
I'm
a
saying.
Church
Though.
activity.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
now.
It's like we saw a movie at her church. It's like, what did you see? Oh, we watched Braveheart. At the church.
Oh my word.
But we watched that movie, and then her mom scared the life out of me.
Oh, really?
So I show up. No, I'm sorry. This was actually before that. My bad. Before we started dating, like when I first met her in person. Like talking over Facebook was the easiest thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
When you just messaging girls, what's up, girl? But talking to her in person for me was so scary. So I show up at their church, and of course, her dad's like 6'6". We'll be here today.
Oh yeah.
And so like you think that that's the typical, the dad is the scary one. Well, her dad was the nicest guy. So he didn't. I wasn't scared of him. Plus, I never did anything wrong to be scared of him. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really care. And plus, me and him are like really close friends.
Yeah.
So, but her mom, I showed up and I'm like, oh hi, Mrs. Richardson, how are you? And she's like, oh, you're the one talking to my daughter. And I'm just like, no. I'm just like, I don't know your daughter. What are you doing? It's like, what did I do?
Kate who? What?
I was like, I don't know what you're talking
I'm here
about.
to watch Courageous.
Yeah, exactly. This was before then, before we started dating.
Never mind.
So, but the funny thing is, so when I asked her to go out with me, though, I feel like I'm jumping around stories, but when I asked her to go out with me, she said to talk to her dad. She told her dad to tell me no. She told her dad to tell me that she wanted to wait. Not just no, but she was so, because she was a junior. I was a senior.
Yeah.
She told her dad to say, hey, just tell him no right now. I just want to wait. I'm too. So, and her dad, though, we end up talking. So I talked to her dad, and we talked. So here's the thing. I talked to her dad for like 20 minutes. 15 of it was football. The last 5 was about, he hands me a piece of paper, and it was like guidelines for dating my daughter. I still have it to this day. Yes. I don't remember like any of them. It's on the paper.
Yeah.
And then all he tells me is take it slow. So
he didn't say no.
No. So to me, I leave and I message her and I'm like, got the yes.
She's like,
So she's like, what? But then she was like, okay. Like, I mean, now we laugh about it, right? Because that's just hilarious now. She's like, Dad, tell him no. Her dad's like, yeah, you're fine. Take it slow. So we started dating then when she was a junior, and now we're married. So
she should have said, talk to my mom.
Oh my goodness.
We
We wouldn't be together. I'll be like, oh, okay, it was nice knowing you. No, her mom is awesome too.
Text on your girl on Facebook. What's up,
What's
good
up?
girl?
What's up, my girl's mom?
Oh, man, so good, dude.
But that's how we met. So you got to hit me up with how you and Lucy met.
Oh man,
Because I feel like for you, all of a sudden, I was like, oh, Johnny's dating someone. Also, I'm like, Johnny's getting married.
Yeah, so
I was
it
like,
happened
what in
really
the world?
Fast. It happened really fast. Let's just say
She's your cousin, right?
No, let's clear that really quick. Yeah, we grew up together. We knew each other really well. No.
She's like a sister to me.
She was like a sister to me.
Now we're married. That's weird. Go ahead.
No, but for me, I had done enough dating to figure out what I didn't want. So when I finally met Lucy, it was like, boom, this is it. Like all the lights were green. And so I was not used to green lights personally. Mm-hmm. But so we met the first time I ever not saw her, but was made aware of her being alive was my mom went to a conference at their church. They live in North Idaho, which is like 36 hours or something from here. And so my mom goes there, comes back home, and she's got a Christmas card, like it was like a prayer card or something of their family. And she, and she was like, "Oh, look at these girls," showing me and my brothers. Look at these girls; these are nice. Yeah. And I remember looking at it and being like, "Okay, like, what are you talking about, Mom? They live on the other side of the United States, whatever." So that was the first time. That was like when I was like in a junior, senior in high school.
Oh, that was then?
Yeah, was
I didn't know that.
Long time
okay.
ago, but I never met her until
yeah. Till you got married.
Until I got pretty much.
Till you guys got married.
I met her and then we got married. But no, and then we went to the same conference that they went to all those years ago. We went as a family, and that's the first time I met her. And I was dating someone else at the time, but I really had a crush on her. Mm-hmm. like I was dating somebody else, but I really liked her. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that tells how much of a terrible human being I am or not.
So you met her and then you were like, all right, me and
No,
you were
I
done.
I wasn't ready to end it with the other stuff, but it did end up happening. Like I went to visit. I was dating someone else at the time. I went on that conference, met her.
You dating your friend's wife?
No,
Didn't you date what's his name's wife though?
I did. That's a
That was before that.
That was before
I was
that.
gonna laugh really hard if you were
It's
like,
not
yeah, I
her.
broke up with her.
It was not her.
Okay.
But so
juicy on the podcast
Oh
with these
my.
stories.
But no, so I go back home and then everything with that girl fell apart. So I was like, okay. So I went back home from meeting Lucy for the first time, and everything with that girl fell apart. And actually, the first conversation that Lucy and I had, she was talking about how she had just broken up with her ex.
And you're like, what's up, girl?
Yeah, no.
I also said, how you doing, by the way. Go ahead, though.
Don't tell people that. Just say you just literally said, "What's up, girl?" That's it.
That might have. She'll show me the messages. Go ahead. Talk about yours. Though.
So we had just broken up with people, or like she broke up with her boyfriend. And I remember her just telling me everything about it. Like she just unloaded on me, and I was like, "Wow, okay, that's like it was kind of odd, but like
Yeah.
I was kind of glad to hear that she didn't have a boyfriend anymore." But
You're like, oh man, but you're on the inside. You're like, yes, let's go.
so that was the first time we met, and then we met again on yesterday was actually for our 1 year anniversary, so that was exciting.
Married 1 year anniversary or meeting?
Married.
Okay.
I think I already said that. I might have already said
You did.
Okay. So I gotta remember this story. Yeah, so then we met again.
There you go. Now you're picking up real well.
We met again at another conference in Seattle, Washington. And I was kind of a jerk to her then because I definitely liked her, but like I was kind of interested in someone else too.
Wasn't that the Christian way back then? Like,
yeah.
People don't realize, like, they just date throughout their lives, but like for Christians, like, we couldn't date.
Yeah.
I always say Christians. I feel like that's a very vague term now.
Yeah, our small sliver of the way we did things.
Yes, the way we did things was like we weren't allowed to date, and so like you would just jerk to that girl because you liked her for some weird reason. Yeah. You're just like, this girl's hot. I'm gonna smack her in the face.
Yeah, I know.
With my words.
I really like this girl. I'm just gonna literally make her feel like worthless.
Yeah.
But anyway,
exactly, because I care about her.
Yeah, I know. So that I was kind of a jerk to her, and she'll still say that I was super mean to her, but it was because I had a huge crush on her. So then we go back again the following year in the fall, and that is when we were both single, not dating anybody. And I get back there, I'm like, you know what, Lord, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna I don't want to force it. You know what I mean? And it was finally the first time I took my hands off of a relationship and let the Lord kind of lead me to somebody. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to I knew she was going to be there. It was like a 3-day conference or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm not going to try to make any moves or whatever. And then that was at least what I told myself, but it was pretty hopeless. And so we get there, and I'm actually with my brother Nate. And this is so funny. So we get there, and Nate's like, so the first day goes by, whatever, and Nate's like, what do you think of Lucy? And I'm like,
wait, what?
Yeah, Nate, legit. But
do you mean for him?
Yes. This is great. He goes, what do you think of Lucy? And in my mind, I'm like, dude, no way. But I honestly was not worried because I know how Nate is. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever. She's great, for somebody. Definitely not me.
You have to be mean to her.
Yeah.
She seems great for anybody but me. I'm a good person. I don't want her.
So Nate, he mentions that to me. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Feel it out. So, go for it. And so for one of the days, Nate was just kind of trying to make moves or whatever, and I'm just kind of in the background. And after that day, I'm just like, whatever, I'm going for it. And so I'm just like, Nate, step aside. It's time for Daddy to come take over.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. So let Big Poppy step up to the plate here. You need to just step aside.
And I crushed it into top right field. Absolutely destroyed it. But yeah, so after that, we started texting and everything, and that was in the fall. That was October. And then literally we started texting ever since then. And She actually paid for the first meal that we had.
Dude.
So we went out.
I would have married her on the spot.
So we went out. We went to like Chili's or something. And
Dating's expensive.
I know it was fine.
Just saying.
Fine dining. So we
dated for 7 years.
It wasn't even me and her. It wasn't even me and her. It was like a group of people. We all went and got like food or whatever.
Is this when she was getting that Starbucks money?
Yeah, this is when she was getting that Starbucks money. For real.
Yeah. She was embezzling from Starbucks.
Yeah, legit. So we all go out to eat, whatever, and then like the bill comes back and like, all right, you guys' bill is paid, so you're good to go. And this is like 8 people. And I'm
wow.
Like, what? Okay. And then
that's a flex right there.
Yeah, so I'm like, we're trying to figure out who paid, and then Lucy's being all quiet, and I'm like, it was you, wasn't it? So technically, she paid for our first meal, and I'm convinced to this day that she had the church card. I'm not gonna.
Amen.
She 100% had. I think that she had her dad's church card, but
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. When you and she's a pastor's daughter, so
yeah.
So
nothing wrong with that. Like,
absolutely.
Her dad's like, here, throw it on the church.
Yeah. But
anyway,
anyway,
our church people are gonna listen to this and be like, what?
That's
the church money was used for this?
For Chili's?
We could have done something with that $60.
I know.
Whatever, much.
So so after that we started texting, and then she came. Went back and visited. She came and visited, and then I asked her to marry me that February.
Really?
Yeah. So we was
wow. So you dated for what, like 4 months?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
So,
Beck and Jacob did the same thing.
So yeah, I asked her to marry me in February, and then we got married in the following June.
Wow.
Yeah. So we went quick.
I'm like a firm believer, and this is just my opinion, and like if you know who you're gonna marry,
and that's the thing, dude. I mean,
if you're ready, I'm not saying like just get married. I'm saying like if you know that you're gonna marry that person, just get married.
So
especially in our standpoint, but
so for my experience with her parents was not bad at all. Like I was like, they were like, my parents knew them, so they kind of knew me,
that
how
helps.
I was raised. So they were good with me, right off the bat. And I remember going to ask them if I could ask Lucy to marry me. Mm-hmm. And the first time I talked to her dad on the phone, I was just like super nervous. He was like, yeah, go ahead. Like he was like, I don't really want to talk to you, but sure.
Yeah.
And so
I asked my father-in-law in person, and it was the weirdest conversation for me. I was so awkward, and I've known him for like 5 years then.
Oh, really?
So I don't know why it was awkward. And he knew it was. I had to know it was coming, right? Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
So when I finally sat them down, I was there in Idaho visiting, and I sat them down. I was like, hey, so I just want to ask you guys permission. And here's how I labeled the question. I said, what do I have to do in order to, marry your daughter? Because I'm thinking there's going to be like, stipulations.
Like set list.
Yeah, for real. Like you got to have all these boxes checked. And then he literally goes, you should ask her.
That's really what he said.
Yeah, he's like, ask her.
Dude, he is awesome.
He was.
You should probably ask her. I mean, I wouldn't just take her and go get married.
Yeah.
That's like, amazing.
Just ask her. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it. And like, so I got really lucky because, like, I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna be as a dad. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out soon.
Yeah.
But like, I guess it just depends. For somebody to like have, I get dads that have like these stipulations, like you have to have this much money in the bank, you gotta have your own place.
Yeah, some dads are picky, which is fine. I mean, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, if you want the best for your daughter, he clearly didn't want the best for his daughter. So
he wanted her gone.
Yeah, legit. He's just trying to pawn her off. But yeah, so
I hope he listens to this.
I know he probably won't. He doesn't love me. Now I know he's not gonna listen to.
Oh, there you go.
But so yeah, that's how it happened, man. And we've been married for a year since, and it's been fast. But yeah, I always tell people when it's the right person, right timing. That's key. You got to have the right person, and you have the right timing.
It's like that's what Becca is saying. Becca and Jacob like met, and Jacob wasn't in our realm, Christianity realm at least, or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, but they got married. I think they did it for like 8 months though. Mm-hmm. But then they got married. My dad was kind of just like, just get married if you're ready. Like,
yeah.
It sounds weird because sometimes it sounds like dads are. Like the speculation is they're so protective of their daughters, and then sometimes it's simply they're like, yeah, I love my baby girl. Can somebody please get her off my head?
I know. I don't want to be responsible for her anymore.
Literally.
That's like as soon as she started filing for her own taxes, I'm out. Like, I'm not getting anything for her now. She's independent. Somebody please marry her.
Literally.
But yeah, so I mean, like it just went really fast for us, and then we're having a baby in January, which is crazy, dude.
That is insane.
I know.
It's crazy how fast time goes once you get married.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like it's different milestones of your life. Like you graduate high school. After high school, I think time started flying.
Yeah.
And then because I think it's because like in high school things were split up. So you had like your high school like during the year and you had like summer.
Yep.
And you loved your summer, and now you just work.
Year.
Yeah. And now you just work year round. So like, you know, we've been out of high school somewhat for a while now. I mean, for us a while now.
How long have you been married?
It'll be 2 years for me in October.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we got married in Columbus of October on like our 6 year dating. We dated for years.
That's a long time.
Very long time.
I don't think
Very long time.
Yeah, that is a long time.
I always tell people that. I'm like, we dated for 5 years. Felt like 30. But because my wife always would ask me, and I don't think she enjoys this joke, but she would always ask me. She'd be like, "What would you have done when you asked to marry me?" And I would have said no. It's like I would have broke up with you on the spot. I was like, I dated you for 5 years, and then you said no to me. I would have been like, well, this was fun while it lasted. It's like, is that true? Probably
I'm taking my business elsewhere.
Yeah, because he's like, there's no way. I'm like, I don't know what I would. I knew you were gonna say yes, so I wasn't worried about it. But that's what I always say to her. I was like, no, we would have been done. I would have been like, all right, I'm going somewhere else with this. This is it
That
for
was
me.
a crap investment.
Yes.
Moving on.
there's 5 years of my life right there.
Yeah, she has no idea how easy it is for you to pick up and move. Like you guys have been doing it for your entire
She's
life.
like, you kidding me?
You're playing with fire here.
I know. It's like, you don't think I can move to Massachusetts if I want to right now?
I will move so fast. You will not even know that I existed.
Oh, but that was a fun time. I remember we got engaged. We were engaged for a year.
Man, dude.
Yeah, we were engaged for a year. A little over a year, I think. Because we got engaged like September, I think, and we got married next October. So we were engaged for a year.
How is that with you?
Engagement?
Yeah. I mean, like actually doing it. Were you nervous to like do it?
What do you mean?
Like your actual engagement story, like.
Oh, you mean how I asked
How
her?
you
Oh,
asked
how
her,
I
yeah.
asked. No, so
Oh, we were actually at a Chili's.
she paid for the first meal, and I just went, "Will you marry me?" She couldn't afford my meals. Don't worry. That's one reason I had to get married is like. So the funny thing is actually, while I was dating though, we started paying separate for things because paying when you're working for minimum wage.
Yeah.
And you're trying to pay for both meals a lot, not a lot, but a good amount of times for you and your girlfriend. That adds up.
Yeah, for real.
And I wasn't the best budgeter.
I'll cover you on date night.
Yes, like if we have like a nice date, that'll be me. But like if you're just like, hey, let's go get food, I'm like, okay, you gotta pay for yourself. Like I can't keep dumping this money. And she doesn't. Like she eats a lot, so
Right,
like
yeah.
she's one of those people that when she gets nervous, she doesn't eat, and then when I get nervous, I eat. So she's like our first dates at the beginning. She's like not eating her food, and I'm eating all of her
You're
food.
just pounding stuff.
She's like, oh, I'm just not hungry. I'm like, okay, I'll take it off your hands.
So good.
It's amazing, but the engagement wasn't. I took her to like the top of this like hill overlooking this like just nice view.
Yeah.
And we like
That's the trend. Dude.
I-
You got to go
yeah.
somewhere where you can like see a lot of area or like something, or there has to be water involved.
I don't know what.
I don't know.
It's so funny to me when people like you don't see everybody. You don't ever see somebody getting engaged like outside of their house.
Chill.
Outside of a Chili's. Unless maybe they're like completely drunk. You're getting married.
Exactly.
No, but like it's always like some scenic like there's a river.
Yeah. You did a lake, right, or something? Or
Yeah, we were on a
yeah.
river.
You were on a river.
We were yes.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
standing on a river. No, it was on a dock.
I've just seen the picture. Like that's
Yeah.
that's literally it.
Yeah, I was on a dock. But like
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's like if you don't get engaged on a dock or on a mountain or overlooking something, are you really engaged?
No, you didn't do it right.
I don't think you did it right.
That's the speculation. Like
Doesn't
when he
count.
handed me that paper that said how to date my daughter, one of them was like, if you get married and there's not a good scenic view, it's not happening. So we did it like on top of like this hill on this mountain thing.
Yeah.
So like the annoying thing about this for me as well was that was actually like a time when I was also my heaviest.
Oh,
So like the video of us and like pictures of me is like ugh. It was and it's like and there's nothing you can do about it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's there
So,
forever.
yeah.
But
But
like,
like
show your kids that one day. You're like, is that you, Dad?
I know. I'm hoping they're gonna be like, Dad, you were huge. You're not like that anymore.
I've been the same size since I graduated high school.
I've
So,
not.
Like, I wish I could fluctuate like you. Like I can't.
Yeah. Well, like for me, it's like I was in high school. I got like to my biggest my senior year, and then I dropped a bunch of weight for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And then after high school, I just ballooned up. Well, once you get a job and I moved out technically, right, at my parents' house, so like I ate whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't smoke or drink, so like my thing is just food. Like that's mine. Like I'm like if I'm not gonna smoke, if I can't smoke and I can't drink or I can't chew, just give me 75 hamburgers
That's
and
all
I am
need.
good.
But yeah, for me, I've never ever put on weight. Like everybody was always like, "Oh, once you graduate from high school, watch out. First year of college, 15, freshman 15." It's like, oh, once you get married, you're gonna put on
I've heard
15
that.
pounds. Once you have your first kid, you're gonna put on 20 pounds. It's a lie for me. I don't
And
believe
your
it.
dad's also been the same size, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the exact
pretty
same. So I don't see like, all three of you are just all the same.
Yeah, I don't know
Like-
what it is.
So Dustin, that did happen to Dustin. Dustin got married and then put on weight. Like started putting on weight.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now he just works out and he controls it himself.
Must be nice.
So
Nice.
I know you don't work out.
I don't. I literally. I had. Okay, so
That's what I'm saying.
I just moved into this new apartment, and for when we lived in our old one, it was two buildings over was like the free gym at the apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm literally right next to it.
You're
so
still
I
not
have,
gonna go.
I have zero excuse to not go in there.
Is it a full workout area?
It's a full gym. I mean, like it's like not pristine, but like you have stuff. If you actually like use the stuff, you'll get bigger.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
see what you mean.
So for me, it's like Lucy will just be like, yeah. So like she's pregnant, and we're like at like 15 weeks or whatever. She's like, so I'm gonna get bigger. You should work out and get bigger too.
Did she really say that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
And I'm just like, I have no excuse now. It's right next door.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, I just got to get up early and go.
Yeah.
I struggle with motivation.
I was gonna say the same
that
thing.
stuff,
It's
dude.
motivation for that.
Especially after you get married, you're like, the only motivation I had to work out was like to find a wife.
I know. It's like before, it's like I need to look good. For me, I stopped after high school because we were already dating. So in my head, I'm like, I'm just going to marry this girl. I can blow it up to 500 pounds.
It's so bad
And
because
then, yeah.
it's like, you don't care about them in that way at all. I feel like to like work out and look good for them.
Yeah.
Like I'm not fat, but like I just lack that motivation, dude. Like I can't find it anywhere. Like the only motivation I had to work out, I did like in high school and stuff.
Yeah, well, sports
Never saw any results. It was always sports.
Yeah, it's just sport related.
Yeah, yeah. And so like, sorry, babe, basketball motivates me more than you do.
To win that max championship.
I know,
Right.
And have 2 points in the championship game. That's what I worked for.
All day.
I can't work for that for you.
All that time was worth it to get those 2 points in the championship
I know.
game.
Legit.
I know what you mean. It's like once you get married, for us, it's just like, okay, now it's just work and then go home. And
I rely strictly on my personality to win you over.
that's exactly what because people would always be like, oh, you got such a pretty wife, how'd you do that? I'm like, oh, one, thanks for that shot right to me. My wife's granny, she's awesome. She's like 80 million years old. And she is hilarious. She's our only last living grandparent. Is her granny. It's her mom's mom. Mm-hmm. She's hilarious. She came up to me one time and she's like, Dan, you're pretty handsome for a big guy. I'm like,
Kiss her on
thanks.
the mouth.
Yeah,
I love you.
She's just like, it's like, thanks for that hug, and then knife right in the back.
Legit.
But like, I was like, that is a compliment. I will take that.
Yeah.
But I've had people ask me like, oh yeah, how'd you get your wife? I'm like, well, because I was nice to her. I was like, I made her laugh. That was I could make my wife laugh.
Yes, dude,
I could do that easily. So
I can do that too.
Yeah, and I
Especially
do it
when
in
she
like
hates
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, if I make her mad. Sometimes I'll tickle her, and that makes her even more mad.
What was the biggest thing? What was the biggest thing for you that you had to learn in like your first year of marriage, or like first 2 years of marriage?
First year of marriage, biggest thing I had to learn.
Watch out! Here comes some marriage counseling. For you.
Comes marriage counseling, so you might want to get off now. If you've made it this far,
Yeah.
we're over an hour in now. Actually,
For real?
Yeah, we're an hour and 9 minutes in, so we should probably wrap up soon.
Yeah.
But what I'll say, you know what?
So fast.
I'm gonna save that for the next one. Actually,
Ooh.
I am gonna save that because I want to make sure I say the right thing, and it has to be funny.
Yeah. It's
With
gotta
a
be
funny
somewhat
twist.
comical.
If they made it, if you guys, whoever's listening, made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, for real.
And this was our first one.
I'm gonna figure out It's gonna be somebody funny. The first person I send this to. Are you doing all the editing of this?
Probably.
I don't know how to edit, so
Oh, I mean, there's not. I mean, it's going to be hard. This is an hour long, and I didn't mark anything down. So, but I don't think we said anything that we don't that we want to take out.
maybe the occasional like cough directly in the mic.
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part. I feel like we need to. I'm probably going to cut what we all just set out. We need to end it somehow.
Well,
now we're
guys-
just talking about the
Yeah, I know,
podcast.
I know.
Like we can talk about that later. So let me think here. What were we? You asked the question of what was the question you asked? You said
The biggest thing, or whatever.
yeah, the biggest thing you learned in first year of marriage. Okay, so we'll end on that note. And then the next time we start this up,
We'll come back to it.
I'm very tempted to go ahead and look at like a solid mixer and mics to make this even easier.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I want to chip in for that too.
Okay, we can definitely do that. Well, again, but we should talk about that later.
I mean, yeah,
I keep
whatever.
getting off sidetrack. Well, okay, so I'm going to answer that question later, though.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what the first year I learned in marriage is, so and what's interesting about that question though is because we're kind of opposite. Like even though you knew your wife for a while,
Yeah.
I dated mine for 5 years.
Yeah.
So like my answer probably gonna be different than yours.
Completely
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So we will definitely have to discuss that because that's interesting.
You'll have a whole week to come up with a fake answer.
Yes, let's come up with a thing. I need to be nice to my wife. Like what I realized is I just need to support my wife more than anything. I just need to love her more. She's just so
I've
amazing.
decided to be a stay-at-home dad and just let her do her thing. And
Just realize that when you smack her in the face, she doesn't like that. Nothing better than an abusive
that'd be
joke.
my advice right now, off the cuff, not thinking about it.
I know. But we'll definitely answer that back, and hopefully, maybe even by next week, we might have ideas for a name.
Yeah, man.
We should throw those out there. If
I'll be
anyone's
working on
listening, give us ideas for a name. If anyone is listening,
I think we should just automatically, right off the bat, assume we have at least 300 subscribers
easily.
and talk to them and pretend like they send us in questions and give us
Yes.
reviews, even though it's no one.
Yes, maybe have.
Hey, so if you were just sending a question, thank you,
Yeah.
super_man. Thank you for that question you asked. What's our favorite fast food restaurant? It's nobody. We just made it up.
Just pick up random people. Oh man, we should do like you remember in Tim Hawkins' podcast when they would have people call in.
Yeah.
And it would be him like making up some voice.
Yeah,
It's
legit.
like that was one of my favorite things.
brag on
because-
our fan base. Our
Yes.
fans are so good.
Oh, they're amazing. I mean,
love
we love you guys so much. I mean, they are. They're amazing. And if you're into this and it's an hour and 12 minutes, by the time I cut out everything, that's solid. I want to do an hour, so that was good.
solid. I'm surprised.
I am too.
We gotta go get ready for church now.
No, we do. We really do. That's the funny thing. Like I said, I was a little bit like, I feel like we're gonna run out of things, and you don't want pauses on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't. So I'm like, we're gonna run out of things to say. And now that we're on here, I'm like, I have so many horrible stories that have happened to me over the time of my life that I can just throw out there for people to know because they're pretty hilarious usually.
It flowed really well.
I think so too. Hopefully people enjoy it. Like I said, hour and 12-minute long. I mean, hopefully our 300 subscribers and all of our fans enjoy this and send them to Johnny's PO box.
Like
Have
it-
that fan mail.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Share it with one of your other friends that you have.
Yeah. And whenever you're listening to this on whatever you're listening to it on, because I don't know what I'm going to upload this to.
All the platforms.
Yeah, I'm upload every platform. We're just going to throw it out there. But
Thanks for listening, guys.
yeah, we will be back.
Are we doing this? I want to do this weekly, honestly.
I
Are we
would
gonna have
love to
enough
do this
stuff
weekly.
What?
I'd love to do this weekly. This was a
Yeah.
blast.
Are we gonna have enough stuff to do this
We
weekly?
need to end this. I need to end it.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you guys. Bye.